Hello, my peanut butter tastes like oil. I don't know what I just said. Hey, this is Dataforge. I'm Zoc. What's up, everybody? Just ran back here real quick because it's helping my kid out. Okay. We got a fun episode because we're going to be going over the witches of WoE today. Yes. What must you kill when they're on the board? What's up, Ketzer? What's up, Dinobot? Nice to see you. Dinobot's blorb tastes like chicken. Twice as many wings, says Ketzer. The WoE Salem witch trials? Do we still do that? Maybe we do. Okay. So yes, the witches of WoE. And of course, we'll check out the latest high SAS sales in Fresh Marks. There's been offers of $700 for a deck. We're going to do WoE Crack-a-Pack. There's a lot of new decks from this last week too. And yeah, let's have some fun. Gonna get these folks all stirred up against these critters. Burn the witch! No, you must kill the witch. But what is a witch? What's up, Murph? Nice to see you. Here's my definition of a witch. This creature, if not destroyed immediately, could win the game or put your opponent closer to winning the game if allowed to have 1 to 2 turns with it, or it could prevent you from progressing your game and ability to win. And of course, all of that is deck dependent, board state dependent, and game state dependent. But yeah, if the witches lives, you lose, more or less. That's the main definition. So let's kick it right off with Brobnar. What are our Brobnar witches? And I have it in a couple different categories actually, because there's the witches, what I think are the witches, and then there's kind of mini witches or things that are more deck dependent. But for me, the two big witches in Brobnar are Brick Nasty and Harmal Attune. They cannot be allowed to live. Now, obviously you can play around it. Don't play creatures. They can't fight. Kretchy is not a witch. However, we'll get there. So yes, Brick Nasty obviously after another friendly Brobnar creature fights, gain 1 ember. So every time someone's fighting, they're not only getting your creatures off the board, but they're gaining ember. And if they have Harmal Attune out as well, each other friendly Brobnar creature gains destroyed. Return this creature to its owner's hand. So it can just play it right back out again. They actually go super well together, but are also good by themselves. But what about Kretchy? What about the rest of the band? Well, they are in my mini witches, or honorable mention, or it's really deck dependent. And Kretchy really is very deck dependent because it's really bad for some decks and it's really good for some decks. And actually, it's something where if your opponent plays it, you might actually want it to live because you might be able to take more advantage of it than they can. So that one's really game state dependent and deck dependent. But it's definitely on the list. And Kretchy, of course, reads, each time a player exalts a creature or a creature captures ember, put 1 ember on that creature for the common supply. So if you play Fresh Marks, destroy a friendly creature, and exalt 3 of your opponent's creatures, now you would be doing 6 ember on those instead of 3. So very powerful. Another mini witch is Ged Hammer. It goes very well with Brick Nasty and with Harmal Attune. It reads, destroyed, ready in a rage, each other friendly Brobnar creature. So you can get all your Brobnar fighting or reaping, gaining ember. Get a hammer, destroys itself into something else. Everybody else readies and enrages again. You play Get Hammer again. if you have Harmola Tune out, it can get nutty really quick. Other ones that I have on my list, Looter Goblin. And really the reason I have this on the list is honestly, it's a similar to Brick Nasty, but it's only 2 power, elusive, and it reads after Reap for the remainder of the turn, gain 1 Ember after an enemy creature is destroyed. Next on the list is Pelf, and Pelf by itself is actually not super scary. However, Brobnar does have a lot of ways to ready and fight. And especially if you have Brick Nasty out and you have, a Might Club or 2, you have a Shock Herder, you could potentially fight 3 or 4 times with Pelf in a turn and gain 3 Ember and make them lose 3 Ember. That can add up super quick. So that's why Pelf deserves a spot on the Mini Witch list. And finally, we have Revna Star Song, and of course, that's all about the Berserker. She reads, of course, each friendly Berserker loses all after fight effects. And so she's really important because then when the Berserkers fight, they don't die. And you can keep them on the board. So that can be quite powerful as well. So that is the Brobnar Witches. On to Equidon. And in Equidon, we have 2 main witches. And we'll start out with the Conductor Doroya. And the Conductor, obviously, this is game dependent. Sometimes you get the Conductor and you have no buggies out. But when you do have those buggies out there, the Conductor must die. Because, of course, the Conductor reads, after Reap, ready each friendly buggy artifact. And if you have all 3 of those buggies out there, they synergize very well. You can draw 3 cards, you can gain 2 Ember, you can make 2 tokens. So you can do a lot, and it keeps building on it. And if you can do that twice a turn because you have a Conductor out there after reaping, even better. So it can get nuts pretty quick. The other witch for me in Brobnar is Tia Arhi Esquire, which reads, each friendly non-token creature gains, destroyed, make a token creature. I actually lost a match at Keyforge Celebration because of this card, because it was new to me. I didn't really read it. I played a board wipe, and they created a whole bunch of, I think, grunts they were, and they had a Crystal Hive out, and they just then generated a ton of Ember. And so you got to be careful about this when you got to kill it first and kill it quickly, so that especially in Equidon, they might be able to do a mass buyout, destroy all their creatures, gain a bunch of Ember, while also creating a whole bunch of tokens to follow it up. There's a lot of neat combos that it has, and it is definitely a very scary witch. What else do we got in Equidon? Well, in our mini witch category, we have Getstruccio the Arcane. And this is just because Steel Chew is really good. It's got action, Steel Chew Ember, flip Getstruccio the Arcane face down, so it becomes a token creature. And that's just a 4 Ember swing. It's good. Maybe it's not game changing. That's why it's only a mini witch. But it's good. Next up is Mollusk Collar. And of course, this comes with the Strange Shell token and reads, after Reap, for the remainder of the turn, each friendly Strange Shell gets +3 power and loses all abilities. So I actually don't have a Strange Shell token. However, I've heard from multiple people that they do have some decks where it can get pretty crazy. And I actually reviewed this with my team, and they said Mollusk Caller should be on the Mini Witch list. So I'm adding it to the list. I can't wait to see a game or have a strange show where I get to see it in action, where it's a good deck and it knows how to use it, because it's fun to learn and see that type of stuff. And then the next one is Transitory Philosopher, which reads action, steal 1 ember for each enemy artifact. And the reason this is on there is because Winds of Exchange is artifact heavy. There's a lot of decks with a lot of artifacts. And this could be an action steal a boatload, depending on the deck it's against. And this isn't the only card that focuses on artifacts, which I think is a witch because of them. But this one can have a huge swing if you let it live and you have a whole bunch of artifacts out. Hey, what's up, Quick Draw? Yes, we do have some WoE fresh marks. We actually have 2 WoE fresh marks this week. So we will get there after we get through all these witches. We'll get to the fresh marks. There's 2 WoE fresh marks. And they're very, one of them is very big sass. Big sass. Okay. That's echoed on to Mars. And honestly, I don't think Mars really has a lot of witches. This is a little bit of a stretch, but I'll give you my rationale why not Elixion is a witch. However, they have a lot of mini witches, so we'll get to that. But to me, not Elixion is a witch because of the second part, which it says each friendly pilot creature cannot be dealt damage or destroyed. Now, the first part is not Elixion cannot be used unless you have used 1 or more friendly Mars creatures this turn. But being able to protect your pilots from being dealt damage or destroyed when this is out can be very powerful. And that's why I consider not Elixion a witch. It's hard to necessarily get them all out at the right time. To have, and so this kind of, I should put 4 little mini pilots in here as well because it's only really a witch if they're out there. But if they are out there, you got to get rid of it to get rid of the pilots. So it's very powerful. And yeah, quick draw, you're right. Now, getting on to the mini witches, I think there's a lot of, and it could be questionable what you consider a mini witch, but I actually had a lot for Mars, and a lot of them are related to key costs or taking away Ember. So the first one is Ether Spider, and of course, Ether Spider, back from Call of the Archons, reads Ether Spider deals no damage when fighting. Each ember that would be added to your opponent's pool is captured by Ether Spider instead. Now, this doesn't necessarily win or lose you a game. Obviously, you have to kill it before you can actually gain ember to win. But the reason I really made it a mini witch is because it can combo very well with other cards, especially other ones in Mars, but also in other houses. And the way that it can do that is it can easily get you to go over 6 Ember and then be taxed for your keys, either with somebody like Mixitall Minded or with something like Rent and Rive, make you pay there, or with Fausta Great or something like that. And so that's why it's on my list. The aforementioned Mixitall Minded is also on the list, which reads your opponent's keys cost +1 Ember for each friendly Mars creature in play. So that can easily make your keys cost more than 6 and needs to die quickly so that it cannot slow you down. Similarly, Nizik's Resonator reads for each neighbor. Nizik Resonator has your opponent's keys cost +2 Ember. And so, again, pairs really well with Ether Spider. Anything that can get your opponent to go way above 6 Ember, you can then tax them with Nizik, which is very powerful. And then the last mini witch that we have in Mars that I think we have is Memrox the Red, which reads, your opponent's cards cannot leave your archives, and then has action, gain 1 Ember for each card in your archives. And this can be really powerful because with Scoop Up, or with the Researcher, or with Kaboom, um, or with Recorded History, or with the Star Alliance Outpost, you could have a whole bunch of stuff in your archives. And so this action could be gain a whole bunch, and so that's why it deserves honorable mention for this list. Ketzer says he's got one with ghost form in the deck. That's really cool, not only because you could protect Memrox or another creature, but also because it goes to your archives. Okay, so that's Mars. On to Sanctum. Oh, wait. I forgot. We had a second Mars page. There's so many Mars mini witches. I thought we had more than 4. Yes, we do. There's more. Starting out with Felix the Disintegrator, another one that destroys your Ember. It reads, elusive action. Your opponent loses Ember for each other friendly Mars creature. And with Iron X Rebel, you can make that happen the same turn. Plus, if you have Mars token creatures, you could be making them lose a whole bunch of Ember. So that's why it deserves an honor here. Next up, we have Revo Hooligans, which reads elusive. After Reap, put a paint counter on an artifact. While that artifact has a paint counter, it belongs to House Mars instead of its other houses. So what's really cool about this one is it could be used for your own artifacts. Maybe you have a Mars token and you want to use your Sandhopper on Mars or something like that. You can make it belong to Mars. But what's even better is you can potentially turn off artifacts that your opponent has. If they don't have Mars, then you can put that paint counter on their Sandhopper and make it unable to be used. Or their Obsidian Forge or something like that. And so for those decks that have really important artifacts, it's a witch and it's gonna die. Next up we have Xanthix Harvester. Xanthix Harvester cannot be used while it has a non-Mars neighbor, and it reads, after Reap, gain 1 Ember. This one, it might be a little bit of a stretch. It's just good, you know? Gaining 2 Ember every turn, it's good. A little bit of a stretch. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't actually churn them off. They can still call Mars if they want, but if their deck doesn't have Mars, they're probably not calling it just to use Sandhopper or something like that. But you're right, it doesn't actually turn it off. And then the last mini witch that we have in Mars is Yixlix Mesmerist, which reads, action, a creature captures 1 Ember from its own side. This one's also a little bit of a stretch. It can just add up over time, and it's more or less like a steal 1. So it's good. All right, now we're finally on the Sanctum, and we're going to start with the witches. Batariel of the Grey, which reads, after Reap, ready each disciple. So this can be really good in a Sanctum house that can create a whole bunch of disciples. Even better if you have Nightapult to bring this out ready. Reap, ready all your disciples, use them all. Can just be really powerful. Can get a lot of creatures to be used, and thus Batariel is a witch. The other witch that we have in Sanctum is Zephon the Opulent. Zephon reads, Zephon the Opulent cannot be used unless there are 2 or more friendly token creatures in play. And it reads, play, make 2 token creatures. After Reap, gain 2 Ember. So this is another amazing card. Also, if you have Nidapult, if you Nidapult this out, yeah, then you can Reap and gain 3 Ember. I was just thinking, oh wait, does it come in ready or does it tokens? Now this comes in ready first because it's the first thing that hits the board before the play effect happens. So, yeah, Reap game 3 is huge. So it's a witch. All right, what about mini witches? We have 5 that I have classified. And we're going to start out with Katarina the Summoner. Katarina the Summoner says, reads, play after Reap, capture 1 Ember, and destroyed, make a token creature for each Ember on Katarina the Summoner. So this is another card that has a lot of different synergies. A lot of decks have a lot of different ways to get Ember on Katarina. And then when you destroy it, it makes a whole bunch of token creatures. And for that reason, Katarina, you're a witch. Next up is Colonel Mariana, which reads, play, each friendly knight captures 1 Ember. This one to me is similar to something like a Ether Spider, where it can help set up a play where then you can make them pay for having a lot of Ember over 6, either through taxing or something like Rent and Rive. Next we have Baldric the Bold, which reads, before fight, if the creature Baldric the Bold fights is the most powerful enemy creature, gain 2 Ember. This can be really good, especially with Nidapult, especially with a Grey Rider. Grey Rider and Nidapult is even better. You can get 2 or 4 Ember really quick, and not only that, you're also fighting off an enemy. So that's why Baldric the Bold is a mini witch. Next up, we have Anahita the Traitor, which reads, after Reap, give control of a friendly artifact to your opponent. If you do, they must give you 2 Ember. So really what this is Reap, gain 1, and then steal 2 Ember. That is a pretty big swing, and that's why Anahita, she's a witch. And then finally we have Martyr of the Vault. This is another one of those cards that synergizes really well with something like Colonel Mariana. If you can get them go up to a whole bunch of Ember, and you can destroy Martyr of the Vault at the right time. Martyr of the Vault reads destroyed. If your opponent has 7 Ember or more, they lose all but 5 Ember. And that's why you want to be in control of killing it to make sure that they don't make you lose a whole bunch of Ember, and that's why it's a witch. All right, that's Sanctum. On to Saurian. Okay. My witches in Saurian. First one is Legionary Trainer. And this, I think, is one of the best witches in the game. Obviously, tons better if you have a Saurian token, but it reads, each friendly token creature enters play ready. Play, make a token creature. And some decks can create a lot of token creatures really fast, and that's why this one is a witch. Next up, we have Senator Brackus. Now, maybe Senator Brackus is not as dangerous in this Saurian than we've seen in other Saurians. However, there is still a lot of support for Brackus, especially if it's paired up with like Sanctum or something that has a ton of ways to capture. And Senator Brackus reads, you may spend Ember on friendly creatures as if it were in your pool. After fight, after Reap, exalts Senator Brackus. This is also good tech for kind of anti-fresh marks tech. Of course, you got to get Brackus to live, and there's limited ways to protect it. Pax Soriana, um, the creature that wards each of its neighbors, but Brackus is still a witch. Next up, we have the Saurian mini witches. We're going to start with Spartasaur, which reads, after a friendly creature is destroyed, destroy each non-dinosaur creature, and after fight, gain 2 Ember. So Spartasaur can be great, especially against token armies, because all you gotta do is destroy one other friendly creature, and they all get destroyed, if they're not dinosaurs. And that's why it's a mini witch. Now we have 2 of the 3 philosophers as mini witches as well, and I feel like they can be really good and are underrated. Obviously, they're better if you have them out and you can start putting the counters, the wisdom counters on the other creatures, but Platopelta reads, after Reap, if Platopelta has a wisdom counter, draw 1 card, archive 1 card, and you may put a wisdom counter on Aristotle Mimus. Otherwise, archive 1 card. So at worst is after Reap, archive 1 card, but if it also has a wisdom counter, you could draw 1, archive 1, and then put a wisdom counter on Aristotle Mimus. Aristotle Mimus reads, after Reap, if Aristotle Mimus has a wisdom counter, draw 1 card, archive 1 card, and play a card from your archives. Otherwise, you may play a card from your archives. Oh, did we mention Aristotle Mimus as one of the house cheaters in the bottom of the Beaker episode yesterday? I don't think we did, but I forget. You guys would know better than I do. But either way, it can house cheat because you can play a card from your archives. But if it's got the wisdom counter on it, it can also draw 1, archive 1, and play 1 from your archives. Super powerful. And that is why it is a mini witch. Next mini witch we have is similar to some of the Mars ones, and it is Faust the Great. Your opponent's keys cost +1 Ember for each friendly creature with Ember on it. Play, you may exalt a friendly creature. And so, of course, this is a witch because it can really make you pay a lot for your keys. And then finally, we have Praetor Marius. Praetor Marius reads, after Reap, for each exhausted creature to Praetor Marius's left, capture 1 Ember. So this can, very similar to Ether Spider or Colonel Mariana, this can capture a lot really quickly. Which can keep you off keys, but then also make it so you get way too much Ember and they can make you pay a whole bunch for it. The other cool thing is this synergizes super well with a whole bunch of cards, including Epic Poem, so you can capture a whole bunch, then Epic Poem it and gain a whole bunch of Ember. There's Inspiring Oration, which lets you create a token creature for all the Ember on a creature. And I think there's one more really big one that I'm missing, but I forget what it is. So that's why Praetor Marius is a mini witch. Yeah, it's a great bottom of the beaker episode. Twitch.tv slash sloppy lab work. That's Twitch.tv, yeah. Twitch.tv slash sloppy lab work. Check them out every Tuesday. Bottom of the beaker. Yesterday was a good one talking about WoE efficiency. Yeah, it was really, really insightful stuff from JT and Quickdraw. All right, next up we have Star Alliance. And the only witches that I think we have in Star Alliance are Com Officer, Hings, and Gross. And really it's Hings, but we'll start with Gross. Play, you may search your deck with Com Officer Hings, reveal it, and put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. And after fight, after reap, give a +1 power counter to each creature between Officer Hings and Officer Gross. And then, of course, Officer Hings reads, play, you may search your deck for Officer Gross, reveal it, and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. And then after fight, after reap, draw 1 card for each creature between Officer Hings and Officer Gross. So this can make you draw a whole bunch. You could potentially also ready Hings with something like a cadet on the same turn that you play it. Maybe you can also create a whole bunch of tokens the same turn so that you have a whole bunch of cards between them and draw a whole bunch. Yeah, I think it could be really good in this set. Some of the tools in Star Alliance I feel are a little bit lacking this set, but they still have some really good cards, and they could. I'm sure there's going to be a deck that really really can go crazy. You like to submit Mirror Shell to this list. Now that's pretty interesting. Now this list is only creatures because I define the witches as only being creatures, but Mirror Shell's a good one. Mirror Shell's a good one. Oh, Hings and Mirror Shell? Wow. That would get nuts really quick. I can't wait to see a deck pull that off. Okay. Next Vault Tour or Gen Con, who's doing it? Somebody sign up. Find that deck, do it. Tabor. What's up, PUS Cake? Nice to see you. And thanks for the segue because on to my mini witches where yes, I have CXO Tabor. And CXO Tabor reads, after fight, after reap, you may play or use a non-Star Alliance card this turn. So to me, it is not a witch because I don't think it'll make you win or lose a game if you let it survive a turn or two. However, it's definitely a mini witch. It can do a lot of work, and that's why it's on my honorable mention list. One that I think could be in the right deck even more of a witch is Collector Borin, which says play, put an upgrade from your discard pile into your hand. After an upgrade is attached to Collector Borin, ready Collector Borin. So that can combo off. That can be pretty cool. Also, for my mini witches, I have Psionic Officer Lang, which reads, after an enemy creature reaps, archive the top card of your deck. That can be really powerful. Lang is definitely a witch. And then finally, especially because Winds of Exchange has so many artifacts and a lot of really critical artifacts, Tekavor Pulpate is a witch in the right deck. And it reads, after a player chooses an active house, destroy each artifact of that house. So those are my mini witches for Star Alliance. And then finally on to Unfathomable, which has some of the best witches in the game. Starting with one of the biggest, Bryozoarch. When your opponent plays an action card, instead of resolving its play effect, destroy the creature on your left flank. This can shut down some decks. It can be very strong, and if you have the right deck which can play this and a whole bunch of creatures to the left, either tokens or whatever, it can be really powerful. Next up we have Calpy. Your opponent cannot play more than 1 card of each type. Action, artifact, creature, upgrade each turn. Those two synergize really well together too. But Calpy can really shut you down quickly. It is a witch that needs to die immediately. And then finally we have Timothy the Damned, which reads, while you control a token creature, your opponent cannot forge keys. Play, make a token creature. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Timothy is a witch for me because it can set up a lot of those plays where you can lose a bunch of Ember or tax them, and you just can't win with Timothy out there. It is very powerful. On to the mini witches for Unfathomable. We got a bunch. starting with Fathom Reaver. While you control a token creature, your opponent refills their hand to one less card during the draw card step. Play May a token creature. So having less cards in your hand can really keep you from winning a game. That's why Fathom Reaver for me is a mini witch. Similarly, Fuguru for me is a mini witch. Poison. Your opponent refills their hand to one less card during their draw card step. You have multiple Fathom Reavers and a Fuguru out there, then you're in big trouble. So that's why they gotta die and die quickly. Next up for a mini witch, I added Fisiloa. And Fisiloa reads, damaged creatures do not ready during the ready card step. And this can be really powerful. And some decks are really good on getting a lot of damage on creatures, and then those creatures just don't reap. And whoa, what if you combo this with something like an autocannon? That would be nuts. Of course, it would also hurt you. This is a dual-sided effect. But Fisiloa can be really good and really shut down some board-based decks if you have the right deck to get those damage on there. And so that's why, for me, it is a mini witch. Similarly, another thing that can help shut down a board, although it is not necessarily reliable, is Sybil Waymare. I actually have a deck with 2 Sybil Waymares, and it reads, at the start of your opponent's turn, that player discards a top card of their deck and exhausts each creature of that card's house. So your opponent, say they have 10 Saurian creatures out there, well, if they discard a Saurian creature, they all exhaust. Doesn't matter. Now, an interesting thing with Sybil is dual-sided as well, so it will also exhaust your creatures if you share that house with them. So that's something you need to be aware of, but this can really help shut down a board. It totally hamstrung me in some matches that I've been in, and that's why, to me, it is a witch. And then finally, last but not least, we have the Chosen One. Another good board control witch. The Chosen One reads, instead of readying creatures they control during their ready cards step, your opponent deals 1 damage to the Chosen One for each exhausted creature they control. This can really shut it down a board for multiple turns. It can be really powerful. Say they have 8 creatures out there, that shuts them down for 2 full turns. And that's why, for me, the Chosen One is a witch. All right, so that is my Witches of WoE. I hope you like it. Some good comments in the chat. I like the idea, Ketzer, that Mirror Shell creates as a witch on play, turns a creature into a witch. It totally can, depending on what that creature is, and the effect that it has. But it's fun to go through and find all the scary creatures in all the houses. Okay. Now it's on to Fresh Marks, where we review. I need to edit this actually. The newly listed decks for sale over 85 SAS, and for Dark Tidings, stuff that's over 70 SAS that looks cool. So let's take a look. And disclaimer for this week, there are, because Nova updated SAS for Winds of Exchange, all the decks are being updated across the database. And so some of the SAS has changed for these decks, and so even though they used to be 85 or above, they are no longer 85. So some of the ones that we'll be looking at are not 85. But that should clear up once the full database is updated. But let's get into it. We're going to start out taking a look at a couple decks from weeks past. First, we're going to check out one that was sold by Dauntless to MedApps. This was listed for $300. It is Rat Cheek, the Hitman of Taxation, a 90 SAS AOA. Let's see, was it 90 SAS before? Oh, this one actually didn't change. Amazing. It was the ZYX lineup, Triple Ronnie, Unlock Gateway, Poltergeist, Exhume, 90 SAS, lots of artifact control, lots of speed. So yeah, MedApps apparently bought that one. It was listed for 300. Not sure what it sold for, but I wanted to give that update. And the other big update was there's been a lot of activity on Jupiter's super speedy deck that he played at Vulture, Philadelphia. Fleet Snaggletooth Babum, which is this Untamed house is crazy. Triple Hunting Witch, Triple Dust Pixie, Chota Hazari, Teliga. Also has Time Traveler, Phase Shift, Reverse Time. All right, quick draw. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night. Catch you later. So this one's had a whole bunch of offers, starting all the way at 50, and then 300, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, going back and forth between Mike Fooney and DM Stove. But they've all been rejected by Jupiter, with the 700 offer coming 4 days ago on the 15th. So lots of activity there. And apparently Jupiter's looking for more than $700 for that one. So that's pretty cool. Okay, getting into the new sales this week. We're going to start out, there's a bunch of Jupiter decks actually, but we're going to start out with Professor Larita Esposito. I think this one has changed hands a few times, but it's being sold by Jupiter now. It's got some pretty cool stuff in all the houses. In Untamed, we have double Nature's Call and Mimicry. We have a double Stealth mode in United Action and Kirby in Star Alliance. And we have Eddie Desania, Memory Chip, Interdimensional Graft, and Logo. So kind of some cool stuff in every house. No listed price on this one. That is Professor Larita Esposito. All right, next up we have M. Thol, Everworks Linear Monk, also being sold by Jupiter. It's a mass mutation, down to 83 SAS after the update. It's a Dacilus deck, also with Curiosaurus. We have double Q-Mex, Zenzik, Infernus, Stirring Grave. It's got an offer of $50, which was rejected. And that is M. Thol. Let's see, let me get a bunch of these loading up. Okay. Next up, we have Hadrian Nana Leadshark, down to 83 SAS. This has 18 Printed Ember, Mass Mutations. It's got a really cool Logos Grim Reminder, a Maverick. It also has triple Infernus, Essence Scale, Dark Minion. It's got a Chronos with 4 draw pips, 2 of them in Logos. Double Neurosiphon. A lot of enhancements overall. It's also got Rad Penny with a Safe House, Double Dark Wave. It's got a offer of $140 that's been rejected. So that is Leadshark. Next up, we have Palarin, Mrs. Tick, the Artendon, a 81 SAS Worlds Collide deck, down to 81 after the update. Being sold by Jupiter. This one has another cool untamed with key charge, mimicry, double nature's call, and punctuated equilibrium. It's got double tribute with double library of Polyosaurus. It's got double evil eye, exhume, greater oxtet, infernus, and obsidian forge. But only 13 creatures to go with that obsidian forge. So that is Mrs. Tick. Next up, we have the Emptiness Who Kills Dice, also being sold by Jupiter. A Coda 83 SAS. Got a whole bunch of steel with triple Nerve Blast, Relentless Whispers, Urchin, Umbra, Carlo Phantom. It's got a Speed Sigil. It's got Bouncing Death Cork, Interdimensional Graft, Library Access, and then Double Control the Weak, Library of the Dam, Restringuntus. That is the Emptiness Who Kills Dice. Next up, we have Violet Gemini Hava. 75 SAS Dark Tidings deck. Also being sold by Jupiter. This one has another crazy untamed with double Chelonia and triple Witch of the Dawn. It also has Key Frog, Mollymawk, Mookling, Piranha Monkeys, so you could potentially kill the Key Frog with Piranha Monkeys. So some pretty cool plays in that. It's got Together, Unity or Discord with CR Officer Hawkins and Star Alliance. And it's got a Hard Citizen with Sinker Needle, double Walk the Plank, double Loot or Pillage, and Early Birds in Shadows. Pretty cool deck. Next up, we have Director O'Grady of Quag Castle. And this one's actually down to 69 sats. It used to be, I think, about 75. This is being sold by Caldon. But I wanted to include it because I actually think it looks a lot better than the SAS. We all know DT SAS doesn't mean much anyway. It's not that accurate. But this has triple Deepwater Gruen with infighting, with a Beach Day, with a Fangtooth Cavern, which can kill your Key Frog. It's also got Mookling. In the shadows, we have double Bryn the Fanatic, double Hard Simpson, Mug, Walk the Plank, Shadow Council, double Jackie Tar. Ransom is pretty good. And then in logos, we have double Theory or Conjecture, Think Twice, double Eddie, double Static Charge, and triple Final Analysis. So I think this is actually a really cool deck. I'm very curious on how it plays. And I think this is probably way better than its 69 SAS. All right, next up we have Zakius Splice Rainkel. This is an 88 SAS Worlds Collide deck being sold by Dauntless. And we got some cool stuff in every house here too. We have Data Forge, Interdimensional Graft, Tautau Vapors, Universal Key Lock. We have in Star Alliance Stealth Mode, Transporter Platform with a Comm Officer Kirby and an Information Officer Gray. And 4 upgrades that have pips on them. Double Light of the Archon, Stunner, and Universal Translator. Goes really nice with that Transporter Platform. And then in Untamed, we have the Key Charge, the Mimicry, the Double Nature's Call, the Punctuated Equilibrium, Flaxia, Ghost Hawk. So you can get a lot of that off in with the Kirby and the Star Alliance turn too. So that's pretty cool. All right, next up we have Igor, Pepperfield Viking, being sold by EEEville. It's an 86 SAS Coda deck. Pretty speedy. It looks pretty nice actually. Double Ghostly Hand, triple Nerve Blast, Hidden Stash Miasma, Relentless Whispers. It's got a library access with both Phase Shift and Wild Wormhole. It's got Double Mother, Lab Work, Interdimensional Graft. And then in Brobnar we have a Gengar Chieftain with a War Drummer, a Bumpsy, an Anger, Sound the Horns. Phoenix Heart can be cool. So that is Igor Pepperfield Viking. It does have a $15 offer. Just sent today. I doubt that that will be accepted though. All right, next up we have Ricardo, Bookbird Dancer, an 85 SAS coda, also being sold by Evil. It's got a pretty cool Maverick, Grenade Snib, and Dis. It also has Control the Weak, Fear, Poltergeist, 3 Fates, Key to Dis, Double Schuler, and really nice with that Arise. In Mars, it's got Triple Squawker. So the Mars here is really cool because first it's got Crystal Hive, which of course reads action for the remainder of the turn, gain 1 ember after a creature reaps. And then it's got Double John Smith, which reads fight reap, ready a non-agent Mars creature. And then it's got Triple Squawker. So say you only have 1 John Smith and 1 Zizix Mini in hand, but you have the Crystal Hive out, you use it, you play the Zizix Mini, you play the John Smith, you play a Squawker, that's an Ember. You reap here, that's 2 Ember. You reap here, that's 2 more Ember. With 3 cards in hand, you gain 5 Ember, and that can get even nuttier if you have all 3 Squawkers and Zizix. Of course, you can archive other creatures too, so pretty cool stuff. And in the shadows, it's got a little bit of steel, Relentless Whispers, Nerve Blast, One Last Job. One Last Job here is actually really good. It's got a bunch of creatures. Okay, so that's Ricardo. That deck's actually pretty cool. Next up, we have Teta, the Comrade Vaulthead, and 81 SAS Worlds Collide. Logos Saurian Star Alliance. A little bit of speed in Logos. In Saurian, we have Cincinnatus Rex, but no Golden Spiral. We do have a Orator Hisaro. We have a Spartasaur as well. Spartasaur with Cincinnatus Rex is pretty cool. A Senator Strix, a Tribute. And in Star Alliance, we have a Book of LEQ, a Transporter Platform, Information Officer Gray, Medic Ingram, a Sensor Chief Garcia. So that is Teta. All right, next up we have Dawson, the Solemnly Vile, also being sold by Evil. An 84 SAS Mash Mutation. We have a few Sins, Gluttony, Pride, and Wrath. Double String Grave. In Logos, Eclectic Inquiry, Autoencoder, Universal Keylock, Double Daughter, a Chronos, but only 2 draw pips, 1 in Logos, and a Nova Dynamo. In Saurian, we have Curiosaurus with a decent amount of capture with Spoils of Battle, City State Interest. It also has a Faust the Great to make him pay. So that's a pretty cool deck. Dawson, the Solemnly Vile. Next up, we have... Whoa, what just happened? Okay. Next up, we have X-Roz, Insincere King, a 72 SAS Dark Tidings deck, also being sold by Evil. And this one has a little bit of everything as well. The Untamed has Deepwater Gruen, Double Mollymock, Witch at the Dawn, a Waste Not. Star Alliance has double Grand Alliance Council, a Together, a Unity or Discord with CR Officer Hawkins, and a 3 artifact set with pips on them. Or sorry, upgrades with pips on them. And then Sanctum has double Bring Low, which goes really well with that Doorstep. Double Hammergram, Gatekeeper also goes well with that Doorstep. This can keep you off a whole bunch in a row. Yeah, that's a cool deck. Strange Ordination too, so it's got some speed. This is X-Roz in Sincere King. All right. Yeah, it is a cool name, Dinobot. What's up, Dinobot? Bring Low, Doorstep, and Gatekeeper. Yeah, this deck This deck actually reminds me of this really annoying deck I would play in the NKFL that had triple bring low and a whole bunch of really annoying Sanctum creatures that were hard to kill. Yeah. Okay, next up we have Hera T, you Radigan's Evil Twin. Oh, that's funny. It's an English deck because of Evil Twin, even though Hera is German. All right, this is a 76 SAS Dark Tidings. We have double Trickle Down Theory, Evil Twin Sea Urchin, a Scooped, Stir Up Trouble, a Mug, Hornswoggle. We have double Brain Drain, Abandoned Ship, Portal. Let's see, what does Tanewa as an Evil Twin do? Fight Reap, put a creature from your discard pile on top of your deck? Okay. Guiltspine Netcaster's Evil Twin is actually pretty cool. Reap, ready and use a friendly non-Aquan creature. Let's see, Flame Gills Enforcer's Evil Twin, action steal 1 Ember. And then Untamed has triple Deepwater Gruin with Ritual of Life. Double Mollymawk, a Key Frog, which goes really well with that Ritual of Life. Yeah, so 31 expected Ember. Pretty cool deck. It does have an offer of $25, which we'll see what the status is if this loads. Hopefully Dexa Keyforge doesn't die on us because that would put it into, yeah, there's a lot of great doubles here. We'll see if Dexa Keyforge comes back here. Yeah, double assert dominance too. Oh yeah, it's back now. Okay, double assert dominance is really good. For the remainder of a turn, a friendly creature gains skirmish, ready and fight with that creature. This deck is definitely worth more than $25. Yeah, the $25 was rejected already, which makes sense. Pretty cool deck. Hey, you said you were back. Okay, next up is Con Gopple of Riverglass. Whoa. It's a 79 SAS Dark Tidings deck. There it is. It's got the Rooftop Laboratory Suite. With Theory or Conjecture. It's got Bren the Fanatic. With Secret Needle and Mug and Scooped. Cement Shoes. And then in Star Alliance, it has Z-Force Agent with double Rocketeer Triska and Captain Valjerico and double Light of the Archons. Oh yeah, it also has Static Charge, Shoulder Id. That's a nice combo. But this Z-Force Agent could go major Voltron, and you can get it going with Rocketeer Triska on the same turn, which is really cool. That 15 speed, I think that's a little overrated. Maybe if you get Captain Valjerico first turn. But pretty cool little deck. That's Con Gopple of Riverglass, also being sold by Evil. Excuse me. Next up we have I cannot talk. Suedovile, the Aloof Runes Lieutenant. Well, this one's all the way down to 79 SAS, and this was at least 85 SAS. So with the new SAS, it's gone down to 79. It's Worlds Collide. It's got Infernus, Harvest Time, Double Not Finished With You, Double Eddy, Igor, Titan Guardian, Strange Gizmo, Tribute 6 Semper, also a Calipigan Ideal, Golden Spiral with Orator Sorrow, Double Phalanx Strike, and Imperium. It's a pretty good Saurian, actually. So that is Suedovile. Next up, we have Amber Maker, Tilliputer's Mayor, 81 SAS. And sorry, both the last deck and this one are being sold by Vendetta VXV. This is a mass mutation, eclectic integrate double ethologica mind over matter autoencoder Chronos with 5 draw pips in the deck, 1 in logos. We have double commandeer, smite, a Lieutenant Gorvanal, Lord Gogoltha, and in Untamed we have double resurgence. No Fandangle here, but it does have Dark Fairy, Damo Beast, Techno Beast, Xeno Beast, and a Fangtooth Cavern. So that is Amber Maker. Alright, the next 3 are actually my decks. And we start off with Crook Perrin. Crook Perrin, I think, was 89 SAS before the update, down to 84. It's a Worlds Collide, Triple Eddie, Double Daughter, Double Igor. In Saurian, we have Golden Spiral with Odoak or Thero. We have a City State Interest, Exile, Triple Chan of Hubris. And then in Shadows, we have a Bren the Fanatic, Double Hugger Mugger, a Legacy Dodger, Logos Plant and Saurian Plant, J Vinda, and Hawk. I did reject the $10 offer already. So that is Crook Perrin. I have a picture? I do have a picture. Okay. Next up, we have another one that was 85 SAS before, down to 79, probably a lot in due to the low creature control. This is Neil Hedgebet, Mr. Hedgebet, Connie Bear. It's got a really nice Star Alliance, double Information Officer Gray, double Medic Ingram, Sensor Chief Garcia, Lieutenant Kirkar, Stealth Mode, couple blasters. In Saurian, we have double Tribute with Exile, a double Ludo, a Saurus Rex, a Odoak the Patrician, and in Logos, we have Cut Throat Research, Interdimensional Graft, double Jargoggle, Babbling Bibliophile, and Titan Guardian. So that is Mr. Hedgebet. And then finally, oh, actually, that last one I think was 86 SAS. This one was 85 SAS. This one actually has done pretty well for me, but down to 79 SAS. This is Giant Pudsey Zachariah. In the Saurian, we have Tribute with Imperial Scutum and Ludo. We have a Senator Strix, Falaphosaurus with a Golden Spiral, City State Interest. In Star Alliance, we have a Captain Val Jericho, double Lieutenant Kirkar, Helms and Spears, Sensor Chief Garcia, a Force Field, Cloaking Dongle, and then in Untamed, we have double Flaxia, Ghost Hawk, Witch of the Wilds, Fangtooth Cavern, Nature's Call. So that is Giant Pudsey Zachariah. Next up, we have an AOA. It's now 79 SAS. It was at least 85, and I think it was much higher than that, actually. We have Ursula Flash Spikemonger being sold by Arentalong. This is a Martian Generosity with double key abduction. Also has Grump Buggy with the Gangernaut combo, Drummernaut, Ganger Chieftain. Untamed has Punctuated Equilibrium, Pose Pixies, Double Full Moon with a bunch of creatures. I guess only 5 creatures here. But Double Regrowth can help set up the Double Full Moon. Being sold for €800. Next up, we have Constant Repocred, the Infinite Imp. An 88 SAS Mash Mutation being sold by OJB for €100. We have 8 disc creatures with a Grim Reminder and a Stirring Grave and an Essence Scale. Double Infernus, double Fiend, Rabble, Drekker, and Logos. We have a Autovac, Daughter, Damobot, Xenobot, Zenzik. And in Untamed, we have the WoW Bounty Fertility Chant combo. Gain 8 Ember. We also have Dark Harbinger with 6 actions for that Dark Harbinger. Also double Ghost Hawk and Scout. 33 expected Ember. A listed price of only 100 euros. Wow. Wow, that's pretty good. All right. Next up, we have UK Blaze. Yeah, that one looked nice. UK Blaze Descendant de la Butte. 83 SAS. Worlds Collide. Also being sold for 100 euros by Chevalier au Lazur. We have Double Eddy, Strange Gizmo, Triple Reader Golem, Triple Imperium, Tribute with Shrix. We have a Captain Valderico, Helms and Spears, Information Officer Gray, Double Arms Master Molina, Stealth Mode. That is UK Blaze. Next up, we have Thor Parsec El Chispiante, a 75 SAS Dark's Tidings deck, being sold by OJB for 50 euros. This one has Chelonia, Fuzzy Gruen, Keyfrog with Infighting. We have Witch of the Dawn. We have a double Portal, double Abyssal Celet. Oh yeah, it's got a Washed Away. Take that, all those 12 artifact WoE decks. It's got a Calpy, a Brain Drain. It's got Hing's Gross, Diplomat of Gung, Teresa, double Light of the Archons, double Ambervac. Yeah, a little bit of everything here. The Mollymawk and the Wash Away. Lots of artifact control. It could be yours for 50 euro. Next up, we get to our Winds of Exchange. Yes, our first Winds of Exchange decks on Fresh Marks, and we're going to start with a big one, 103 SAS. Being sold by Evil, we have Palmera, the Overlord of Equality, with the Berserker token and with 25 token generation, including 3 Press Gang, which is super good. And check out this combo. We have Feats of Strength with Endless Hordes. So first you play Feats of Strength, play for the remainder of the turn. Each time an enemy creature is destroyed in a fight, make a token creature. Then you play Endless Hordes, play for each enemy creature, make a token creature, ready it, and have it fight that enemy creature, ignoring taunts. Resolve these fights one at a time. So pretty much every creature you fight, as long as they're 5 or less, you kill and make another token creature. And then you press gang 3 times, you archive all 3 of them. Yeah, this Brobnar is pretty nuts. A 68 SAS Brobnar. That house alone beats the majority of decks in the world. It might be a little bit overrated, I would say. 68 SAS Brobnar. Oh man, that is pretty hilarious. 215 board. Yeah, the token is 26 times 1.8. Wow. Okay, Mars here isn't bad. Double Brain Dart is really good. It has Psychic Network, but it only has 3 Mars creatures for the Psychic Network. Also, Crystal Hive only has 3 Mars creatures for that. It does have the swap widget, which is kind of cool. You can take back like the weaponsmith and then play the mesmerist and use it right away. Something like that. And then in Saurian we have the Legionary Trainer. Well, guess what? Berserker already comes in ready. We have Longosaur Lector, Ambrosia Outpost, which is not that great. Inspiring Oration, Hedonistic Intent. Yeah, you could probably create a whole bunch with Inspiring Oration if things line up right. And then Oromnopleediums. Alright, so that is Palmera, the Overlord of Equality. It's been sold by Evil, 100 SAS. It's got a $250 offer that's been rejected yesterday. There were 3 different offers, 100, 200, and 250 by Belmont 95 and Andy P. All rejected. So that is Palmera. The WoE and SAS inflation is live. Yeah, that's definitely inflated. All right, next up we have another Winds of Exchange deck. Joak, the sarcastically attentive. In 83 SAS, I think. How did I get notified on this? Was it over 85 at some point? I don't know. But this one is actually pretty cool because it's got Prospector and it's got 18 Raw Ember and then 13 and a half token generation. So I think this is actually probably better than that other deck. Although it does have limited creature control. So it might not be able to hang with that other deck just because of that. But this can go fast. It's got closed door negotiation, which is nice. Generous offer. Ikwiji Outpost is really good. Legend Guard. It's got Compod with a whole. Actually, I guess it's only got 4 Mars creature. The 3 Iron X Propaganda confuse me. But that's actually really good with all the Prospectors. Making more Prospectors. Mixitol Minded. And then in Sanctum, we have a membership drive. Nightapult. Katarina of the Summer could do some work here. Let's see, how many Ember could we get in Katarina in one turn? You play, capture 1. Lightbringer Outpost, capture 3 more, that's 4. Taxion Journey, that's 5. Outflank, that's 7. You could get 7 Ember on Katarina in a turn. Yeah, if they have that much to capture, of course. Maybe I should see if I have any blown up SAS scores in Windex that I can hawk before it's more refined. Totally, now's the time to sell if you have something that's inflated. But this looks like a pretty cool, speedy, fast deck. It's got an offer of $60 that was sent yesterday. No response yet by Belmont 95. Being sold by Evil. Yeah, so that one's pretty cool. All right, and finally, last deck of the night. Unfortunately, not Winds of Exchange. It is Fiddy, the Doomsayer of Possibility, an 86S Mass Mutation deck being sold by Critnado. Triple Lost in the Woods with double Ghost Hawk, Key Frog. The Key Frog could die here with a Savage Clash and a Ghost Hawk out. It's got Lumalu with actually, let's see, 2 Ghost Hawks and a Key Frog as 3 other beasts. So 3 other beasts here. The Sanctum has double Commandeer, Fangs of Gizelheart, Spirit's Way, Baldric the Bold with a Grey Rider, Barrister Joya, Lieutenant Gorvanal. The Logos has a Chronos, although all the draw pips, the 4 draw pips, are in the other houses. Autovac, Double Ethologica, Eclectic Inquiry, Kurzap, but only 4 mutants. It's got a $15 offer, which will probably be rejected. So that is Fiddy, the Doomsayer of Possibility. Ooh, and that is fresh marks for your week. Some pretty cool, exciting decks. $700 offer on Jupiter's Fleet deck with the Crazy Untamed. Lots of cool stuff to look at. And it was also fun going through our witches. So we have one more thing to do. Let's get back to it. And it is crack a pack. Yeah, Jupiter selling Fleet. Let me go back to that real quick because it's had quite the bidding war. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Jupiter claims he's selling Fleet. So yeah, this is of course a triple Hunting Witch, triple Dust Pixie deck. Chota, Teliga. It's had 8 offers already. Going back between Mike Fooney and DM Stove, a whole bunch, all the way up to $700. All of them rejected. So is it really selling Fleet? I don't know. Is that something that you would accept $700 for? I probably would. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, it's obviously very unique with the triple Hunting Witch and triple Dust Pixie. It's kind of one of a kind, untamed. But, whew, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah. So supposedly selling it. All right, on to Crack-a-Pack Winds of Exchange style. Let's get at it. 700 ain't bad, that's for sure. I'm not sure how it did at Philly. I know he didn't get top cuts. I do think it definitely got some wins. I'm not sure how well it did though. Okay, we have. I don't even know what this is a abbreviation of. ADV. It looks like almost like some sort of title. ADV. ADVDT2N. Okay, we have ADVT2N. Anybody know what that acronym stands for? And we have the Explorer token, Star Alliance Sanctum Saurian. I really like this Archon art actually. It's pretty cool looking, and I like how the border of the Archon art matches kind of like this little scaly thing coming out of its head and surrounding its head. It's pretty cool. Advisor? Yeah, that could be. Advisor T2N. Okay, so let's shuffle up each house because that's the way we do it. I already thought 3 spoilers accidentally. And all 3 of them were really good, and 2 of them were doubles of something that's good against tokens. So we're gonna start with Sanctum, I think. And we're gonna start with Martyr of the Vault. That's good. Destroyed. If your opponent has 7 Ember or more, they lose all but 5 Ember. The secrets of the architects are only for the worthy. Next up, we have Colonel Mariana. That pairs super good with Martyr of the Vault. Play, each friendly knight captures 1 Ember. Ember belongs in the hands of the enlightened. Hot, very hot. We have Glorious Few. That's pretty nice. Play, for each creature your opponent controls in excess of you, gain 1 Ember. We have Outflank with a damage enhancement. Play, each Sanctum flank creature captures 2 Ember from its opponent. It's not a dishonorable ambush if you shout, "Have at thee!" before you charge. Lieutenant Corvinal. Okay, that's really good with Mortar of the Vault, too. We have a Celestial Gorm. Omni, destroy Celestial Gorm. Return each other artifact to its owner's hand. All objects are immaterial. Only the spirit is eternal. The Sanctified Scroll. We have, this is one of the spoilers I saw, Call to Action. Play, ready each friendly night creature. Come on. Rise in body, that you may rise in spirit. Okay, so far we have 2 knights. Let's see how many more we get. We have another Celestial Gorm. We have a shoulder armor. While this creature is on a flank, it gets +2 armor and +2 power. I can't see anything. Do I look cool? We have a Retribution. Play, if there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, destroy an enemy creature. No shield can hinder an angel's wrath. Then we have a Battlefield Evangelist, another knight. After fight, make a token creature. You will never achieve transcendence while you remain focused on the material. We have another Battlefield Evangelist with a damage pip. So that's 4 knights now. And finally, we have, Honorable Claim. We have a lot of stuff that interacts with knights. We have the capturing on the knights, we have the readying the knights, and we have another capturing on knights. And it has a capture pip enhancement. Play, each friendly knight creature captures 1 ember. As your spirit is holy, so ember, which is the spirit of the earth, is holy. The Sanctified Scroll. Okay, that's a pretty cool sanctum. We can capture a lot. Only 4 creatures though, so it's definitely not like a main house. We want to be going into it for creature control. We don't have a way to kill our own Martyr of the Vault, unfortunately. Although maybe we could ready it with Call to Action and then fight it into something the same turn. All right, next up we have Saurian, and we start with Grammaticus Thrax, enhance 2 capture and 1 damage. I love Thrax. He leaves me the most glowing feedback. Aloysius the Naive. We have Beware the Ides. Play, deal 23 damage to a creature in the center of its battle line. Maybe I could set that up with Martyr. We have Pale into Insignificance. Play, destroy each creature with the lowest power. The history books will remember my name, unknown. Okay, so our token is 2 power. Might be good against 1 power tokens, or if they're just dominating us in tokens. Oh, more capture. We have Praetor Marius. After Reap, for each exhausted creature to Praetor Marius's left, capture 1 ember. The more his colleagues to the left criticize his policies, the stronger Marius's rhetoric becomes. We have an Ankleo formation. Play, choose 1 for the remainder of the turn. A friendly creature gains skirmish, or exalt a friendly creature. For the remainder of the turn, each friendly creature gains skirmish. I guess that might finally get its due if you have a Saurian token, huh? I've never really seen it do anything. Next up is Great. We have Falsa Great. We can make them pay Your opponent's keys cost +1 Ember for each friendly creature with Ember on it. Play, you may exalt a friendly creature. We have another Pale Insignificance. That was the other 2 cards that I saw. So some interesting creature control. Ooh, we have a Senator Brachus. That's really good with all our Sanctum capture. As I said before, it's a witch. You may spend Ember on your friendly creatures as if it were in your pool. After fight, after reap, exalt Senator Brachus. Oh man, we have so much capture. This is going to be a must kill. All right, Ketzer, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great night. Take care. You rock. Next up, we have Recruit. Play, make a token creature. If you exalted a friendly creature this turn, archive Recruit. Is that my first token maker? Did we have any token? Oh, we had the 2 Battlefield Evangelists, but those are fight effects. Yeah. So besides the battlefields, that's the first one. Wow. It's not a lot of tokens. We'll see what Starlines hits for us. We have another Grammaticus Thrax. Ooh, and a Pax Sariana. Play ward each creature. The vagaries of Saurian politics mean that statues rise and fall at an alarming rate. Okay, this could be good with our Brachus. Maybe we can get our Brachus to live with all our capture. And last card, we have Ballistego. Play, you may exalt Ballistego. While Ballistego has Ember on it, it gains Splash Attack 3. When this creature attacks, also deal 3 damage to each of the attacked creature's neighbors. Okay, and now on to Star Alliance. Let's see. We have an Explorer, and of course we didn't look at it, but the Explorer token is, after Reap, look at the top card of your deck, you may discard it. So, I mean, we have the 2 Battlefield Evangelists. Are we going to be fighting with those and making tokens? I don't know. We have the Recruit. Very little token makers. Let's see what this one has. I kind of would want more value plays. I guess grunt work would be good. But kind of I want some outposts. Oh hey, we start with grunt work with a capture pip. Play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. Make a token creature. Aren't these the same boxes from yesterday? Then we have Tactical Officer Moon. Assault 2. Play, you may rearrange the creatures in a player's battle line. That could be useful. We do have the Praetor Marius. We have the Beware the Ides. Next up we have Secure Droid, Taunt. Secure Droid may be played as an upgrade instead of a creature. With the text, this creature gains Taunt. Okay, that's good. Maybe we can protect our Brachus with Secure Droid. We have another grunt work also with a capture pip. Okay. That's like one of the best token makers because you get to decide of your top 3 cards what becomes a token, which is so huge. We have an uplink. This creature gains action, make a token creature for each of this creature's non-Star Alliance neighbors. Cadet Baronzo was uploading throughout the entire encounter, so fortunately, we were able to recover an enormous amount of data on the creature's diets and habits. Uplink is not that good. We have Pyro, Splash Attack 3. Pyro may be played as an upgrade instead of a creature with the text, this creature gains Splash Attack 3. We have Teamwork. Play, make a token creature. If there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, archive Teamwork. With my strong jaw and your cresting, we'll be unstoppable. We have Photon Blast. Play, deal 2 damage to a creature with the 1 damage splash. If this damage destroys one or more creatures, make a token creature. Avoid dropping, submerging in water, and looking directly into the beam. We have Temporal Purge. Play, flip each token creature face up. Put each non-creature card flipped this way into its owner's discard pile. That is very interesting. Especially since we have the Chew Gruntworks, we could specifically make creatures out of those. Like, say we make a Brachus as a token, and then boom, flip it. Now we have a Brachus out there on a Starline's turn, or something like that. I don't know, some cool stuff. I don't think I have that one yet. Let's see, is there any way yet to kill one of my own creatures in Starlions? No? So I was also thinking if we made Martyr the Vault a token and
Surprise
then flipped
Brachus.
it. Surprise Brachus! I like it. Oh, that's a good. We have Echo Reflector. This creature gains your opponent, or sorry, this creature gains your opponent's keys cost +3 Ember. At least now I know where all the Ember went. Oh, we have a red alert. That's sweet. Play. If you have more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, deal damage to each enemy creature equal to the difference. Okay, that's good. We needed that. And finally, we have CXO Tabor. After fight, after reap, you may play or use a non-Star Alliance card this turn. Cultural Exchange Officer Tabor is everyone's best friend. Okay, so we could potentially do some cool combos with that Tabor. Play Glorious Few with it, and then Red Alert. Flip our token with Temporal Purge, which is Martyr of the Vault, then use CXO Tabor to kill it with Beware the Ides. We're getting pretty complex now. Okay, so we're actually not making many explorers at all in this deck. I think the main house here is Saurian. We only have 4 creatures in Star Alliance, 4 creatures in Sanctum. In Saurian, we have 6 creatures. This deck will go 4 and 8 versus a display of AoA. Yeah, probably. Probably. Oh man. Hey, I have a proposition for you, Dinobot. You can start a new deck rating system for it's a scale between 1 and 12 or 0 and 12, and the scale is how many wins versus an AoA display will this deck get? Boom. It's Dino Deck, the Dino Deck rating system. uh, let's see. Is this really? No, I don't know. I think this is going at least 6 and 6. If I have enough time, I don't have enough time to do that, but man, I'd like to. I might do that sometime. I'm never gonna have enough time to play this 12 times versus AoA display. But now I feel like I have to. Okay. All right, that is a stream. Thanks everybody for watching. We had some fun. We saw the Witches of WoE. We saw the latest high SAS decks, including a 103 SAS Winds of Exchange deck, a 68 SAS Brobnar House Pod, and we got to open a fun Winds of Exchange deck. Thanks, Dinobot. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great night, great evening, wherever you're at. And I will see y'all next time. Take care, everyone.